Let's bring in our next guest, Cheryl Morrison. Hello, Cheryl. How are you?
Hey,
nice
I'm
to see you.
fine.
Event planning and marketing.
Decorating.
And decorate. Well, I'm just going off what it says here, darn it. Now, tell me, how does one become an event planner?
So you probably have marketing because you know my other boss, Coca-Cola Broadcasting.
Yes.
And that's why you had that down. But event planning, I say it's the career that found me. Years ago when I started doing this, I didn't even know you made money that way. I was doing
You're just a
floral
good party
design.
thrower?
I was floral design, and people would come in and ask me, but in the job that I was working, another part-time job, I worked 2 jobs, I always had to organize, I always had to research things, so they would ask me questions and I would find them the answer, and pretty soon they were offering me money, and they would say something like, you know, if you'll just come to the reception and you'll do this or this, I'll give you $100, and I was like, $100, score! $100. I had no idea that there were people out there making a lot more money than this, so every time I tried to get away from event planning and do something else, it finds me, so
People come
that's
search
how,
you out because they know you're
yeah.
the one?
Yes, so there wasn't a degree at the time when I started a long time ago, so I kind of just made up my own, and I went to college and I just would take something, whether it was, you know, food preparation or about fabric or something, anything, religion, anything that I thought would help. And then I finished my degree.
For weddings and stuff? Is that?
Weddings, events, parties, because even with food, there's a lot of beliefs involved. Religion, like in the Jewish faith, you don't mix milk and meat, or you know, if you have
You don't
those
mix
things,
milk and meat.
you don't put them on the same table. There's just certain.
They come from the same animal, don't?
But there's a lot of different. There's just a lot of different things. Seventh-day Adventists, many of those are vegetarian. So you have to you do have to know some beliefs about food and about, you know, the ceremony and parties. Yeah.
Did you always have fun planning parties? Like when you were a kid, did you look forward to
Never.
Never?
Never. I worked at an insurance company part-time, and I worked doing floral design. And in the insurance company, I was an analyst, and I was doing organizing. So if you talk to like a million event planners, they all have something they're good at specifically. I'm very good at something. So what I was good at is contract negotiation, not necessarily getting things cheap, but making sure it's a good, solid contract that is going to, you know, be good for my bride, or if something happens, following up for her and making sure of whatever it is. And so, and budgets, because of course from where I was, getting them on a budget, keeping them with it, and then later on develop the skill of making things look congruent, because sometimes a bride will say, surely this centerpiece will do good if I pay $150 for it, whereas she has a certain look, she can go with something less, she could do something a little more odd that will fit in her budget, and it's going to look like it belongs there. So.
You've done some pretty big things around town.
I have.
Tell me about one of the bigger events that you've done. 2,
they're a little bit older, but I have a soft spot for them because, as you know, I still do events and special projects for Gary Coca-Cola, who...
How is Gary?
You know, I don't see a lot of him. He's like at the coast. I see him about once a month. But I consider him and Juliana good friends of mine. And so I did 2 events for him. One of them was the grand opening of the Al Radka Park, which he had the statue for and did the dedication. So I did all the event planning, working with the city and working with different political entities. And that was a good experience because when you have something like that, a lot of people have to touch it. And sometimes it's hard getting decisions made because of it. So that was a good tool sharpener for me. And then the other thing, just a couple of years ago, and you may have been there, was the big launch for Mundo Fox. And Mundo Fox was...
I was going to go, but you probably don't realize this, but they took my station.
No.
Yeah, I was on that station, and all of a sudden...
you were gone.
Yeah, El Mundo Fox
this is a little bit embarrassing.
Whatever.
No, you know, Mundo Fox.
I do know that it was a hell of a party, though.
You know, what I loved about that is we were going to try to do as much on trade as we could, and this was an expensive party, and I did, and contracts are my thing, and so is trade. I love to do trade, and I did about 80% of it on trade.
Wow.
Yeah, it was big, and Mundo Fox, I really loved the idea, and I think it was long overdue because it's the first mainstream channel that's bilingual in the country, and it's moved up to currently number 3, moving into number 2, and this is really good for second generation Spanish households. We speak both language because they have mainstream
It's good
program.
for people like me that had 4 years of first year Spanish.
Yeah, and so you're not looking at a lot of what did they call them?
Weather girls, that's what they call them.
That's what they call them. I know what channel you watch, but there's a lot of just the same soap operas are the same, and this is, you've got mainstream news, you've got things that are relevant. So I enjoyed that party because,
with a Fox twist.
Yeah, with the Fox. Fox being involved is definitely a good selling point. So I did all the event planning, and I did part of the food. I didn't do all of the food, of course, because I couldn't do everything.
I understand.
So
now, what's your favorite type of event to do?
I really love business seminars and summits, because someone will call me from somewhere in the United States, and they're planning them in every state and all these cities, and I get to be really fast friends with them. They're helping me, I'm helping them. You're in, you're out, they're happy, they give you the check, and they're grateful. There's not a lot of drama. I can't say that I like one event more than the other, because if it's a wedding that's different and they say, hey, let's design something, or let's do something different or something, then I can get excited about it. And I think about a wedding that I did for a couple, Patrick and Laura. I don't want to use their whole name or anything, but they were involved with Roger Rocca's theater, and we did their wedding as if it was a play.
How fun.
It was so much fun, so I was just there. I was just in it, you know. So if it's something different, I've built props. I did about 5 events for Bright Now Dental across California, and I built props. I built tooth out of foam, you know, and I would paint them and put diamonds on them for that little
sparkle,
hip hop kind of thing.
What's in right now?
In
like weddings, what's in?
Well, right now we're dealing with bohemian. That's a lot of do-it-yourself.
Bohemian weddings are in?
Yeah. It's a lot of kind of a little bit. You see one bride there, and she is right there.
Is that a bohemian one?
Yeah, but there's a big leeway there. It's kind of hippie, kind of do-it-yourself. A lot of things go.
Stinky?
And you know, you can mix a lot of things together, and that's fun too. That's really fun.
It's like a big old patchouli party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing illegal.
Okay.
Or medical.
No, I wouldn't know anything about that. What's this one? That's certainly not bohemian.
No, that's my beautiful friend and model, Yvette. And I did a wedding shoot with Mary Mata Fine Photography and Althea Herrera Makeup and Hair. And I did the flowers, and we did a couple. There's one, that's Danica. We did a couple of brides, and we just had the best time. It was like big girls get to play dolls. So we got these 2 models, and we took them out. We did flowers. We did it as if it was a real thing, and we shot them they got copies of the photography, and we got to use them for marketing. So that
awesome.
was a lot of fun.
Why do we have this next picture there? What is that?
Because as of 3 years ago, I've always done catering a little bit here and there. I did some for the launch party.
What was that?
That was a baked brie that I made. The Grand 1401. You've had them on the show before. They asked me if I would do some catering for them because they saw some catering that I did for a family member. So I said, well, you know, that's one area I really haven't delved into. I'm going to just try it. And I've had the best 3 years with them. I'm on their list for approved caterers. So, yeah, whatever comes my way that's interesting and I can make money at, whether it's flowers or event planning or food, whoever comes first.
Right.
Just call me.
That's a good point right there, Cheryl. How do people get a hold of you?
They call me on the phone. I actually do not have a website. I did But with social media, I didn't get a lot of people overly coming to my website. They were, and then they quit. So I'm on social.
You closed it down and went Facebook?
You bet. Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm not on Twitter yet. I've got to figure that out.
You got to start tweeting.
I do, but I really love Facebook and I really love LinkedIn.
What about Instagram with all your pictures?
I do a lot of Instagram. Okay. I sure do.
What's your name on there?
Instagram is Cheryl JM94.
Okay.
Which is my wedding anniversary. And so on Facebook, they can look on CJ Morrison events. They can find me, and same thing with LinkedIn.
Awesome. Okay, there you have it right there. If you're having a big party, wedding, whatever, get a hold of Cheryl Morrison. Tell her you saw her right here on The Buzz. Cheryl, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back starting the second hour of The Buzz. Stick around.